What's going on, fellow trade geniuses? This is Philip. Just a quick update for today. Wanted to point out we talked about this divergence on the oscillator, and we saw we got a peak here, but oscillator was had a bearish divergence, and then we just kind of sold off on that. So there's something I wanted to point out to you guys that we talked about yesterday. This move here was a little bit exasperated by the news that I think it's a combination of things, but there's a nuclear facility in the state of Washington that's having a possible leak. But then they also North Korea news came out about they weren't basically being deterred about testing another nuclear bomb. So I think that kind of exasperated this move. But so anyway, bounced off our 2390 level that we talked about yesterday. Par for the course for that level. We'll see what happens. We're back. Now this is resistance, so we're back up to here. So kind of see what happens overnight. Another chart I wanted to show you guys was the UJ, and we went ahead and shorted it when it was right about here, and taking a weekly short on that on Nadex. This was just really too high, too fast, lack of oxygen trade, and so yeah, we're short weekly on that. The other weekly we're short on is the euro dollar. Let's get this back into here. We shorted this up here out of the money, and our target, our strike actually is down here at this level here where we got this little alert line. So it's made a lot. Right now this is where I was looking at here on euro, breaking this, and we've done that. So I think that we are heading to this level. We'll keep an eye on it because we got about $25 per contract in profit locked in right now, so don't want to give all that back up. So we'll keep an eye on this. So I think long term, back to the indices, we'll see what happens. I think this is kind of a technical break here, and like I said, we've got a lot of reasons to keep going down as we looked on the larger chart yesterday. That was that divergence I was showing you guys, but that's what it looked like on the larger chart. This level, you can see it bounced off that. So if this breaches overnight, then I think we're looking at this next level, 2380 area, and that's an area of volume support too. And then that breaks down, we start seeing some downside. So that could have been the top for the week, this 2403. We'll see though. One thing to note is that, let's look at our settlements. So today we're going to settle somewhere in the 2395 area. So again, pretty flat. Here's settlement. So last couple of days, settlement within a couple points. Today it's going to be dead flat settlement, and that's what I was telling you guys about UJ yesterday. And look what's going on here with UJ. Ramp, and they're not getting anything out of it. But the minute it lets go, then we're seeing issues on the ES SPX side. So my personal bias is down. And I would not be surprised if this was the high for the week here at 2403.50. All right, let's take a look at some currencies real quick. Actually, before we take a look at the currencies, I wanted to just show you kind of our channel. So the 2384 area, 85 would be a buy on ES. And if we look at our other chart here, that's going to take us kind of in this mid zone here. This is kind of that noisy zone. So if we could see a dip to 2382, but not necessarily. Might see where the deviation levels show up for today. Have to take a look at the implied volatility to kind of calculate that, but or wait for the update to come later. But I think it'll be probably similar in this area here. So we'd have to probably break a half deviation to get down to that buy area. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But I would be definitely a buyer breach of that channel for a bounce. Okay, let's take a look at some forex. Okay, so on looking for just some oversold action. EG continues to press. Again, we're going to be looking at these wider channels. This is our typical channel if we were in a regular VIX environment. Now we're going to these wider channels. So we have that for every pair, the regular reference and the wider one. Normally EG would be looking to probably fade a move here, but again, Euro biased down. You can see it's pressing on this channel, but it's been pressing on it, and as you can see, really the wider channel is down here at 0840, showing us some where we'd be looking for some resistance or support, I should say. In other currencies, UJ got a little toppy, nothing too extreme, but that's rolling over. And I'm not seeing anything really other than odd USD. That thing's sick. Things just been having issues. So if we can get a move down to the 720.40 area, I think we're going to go long. We'll see how it shapes up though. I got to take a look at a couple other things. So that would be probably the next forex swing trade that we look at. And we probably take that on a weekly for the Aussie dollar, but again, it'll depend what I see as it sets up there, but we'll tweet that out. So Aussie dollar, EG, we're already in the USD JPY out of the money, and we're almost to that strike already. Euro USD doing what we expected, so that's continuing on, continue that downtrend. Remember, low VIX trend is a powerful thing. So see how that goes. That being said, on the Aussie dollar, we'll be looking for a bounce, because that would be on these wider channels. Even though low VIX trend, they tend the wider channel. That's why I went with that adjusted channels, because they really do, once they get to that extreme, they really do take a break. So okay, so that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the VIX real quick. Okay, VIX, as you can see historically here, not much of a change. We're still really suppressed at 9.99 is the close. If we look at versus the Forex VIX, we're still kind of suppressed. So Forex premiums for in the money type plays pretty scarce at the moment. Another thing I wanted to show you guys, I want to show you kind of like how yield curves affect ES or SPX. Let's take a look at that real quick. So this is my yield curve model. Line in purple is ES, and this green and red line is the yield curve. So when the line is dropping, the yield curve is flattening. That means that your 30-year rates are dropping relative to the 10-year rates. So the back end of the rate structure is flattening. So that's what that represents. So when they tend to drop, you'll get typically a delayed reaction. It seems like almost from, like, say, ES. So for example, if we take a look at here, we were dropping, right? But wasn't really manifesting itself here. We like to see those divergences, because then what happens is you get a drop. Okay, so that's why I like to monitor the yield curve relative to what's going on with ES. I like to see those bearish divergences. The other thing too is when it gets too stretched, like here for example, there's a tendency for it to snap back up, and that's what happens here. So this is a correlated chart. When they're together, we call that equilibrium, like there. But if it really starts to get stretched away, I tend to look for any kind of bearish divergence. So like here, you know, again, we were going down here, and this was going up, and then what ended up happening, we ended up getting a move down. I like to look, these are things I like to look for, these here. That tells me we're setting up for a move like that. So something I wanted to show you guys, this is my yield curve, what I call my yield curve model that I like to use. So anyway, sometimes that sets up for nice overnight fades. Alright, so I'll leave it there. Interesting week so far. We'll see how any of this North Korean news pans out, but definitely think there's room to the downside. So stay on your toes, happy trading, catch you in the next video. Thanks.